So I started off talking to you about why research matters. I don't mind research. I love researching things I love to read about. But, I remember writing my research paper and sometimes just like, ugh, I just want to be rid of this thing. So I want you to know why it's important that even though this might not be something you enjoy, that it's worth learning how to do it well. First of all, it helps you make informed decisions because you start looking at different perspectives and understanding why people have different points of views or even different ways of looking at an issue can help you really eliminate, nah, those are just not really good at all. Here are the ultimately the best choices, right? So again, it makes better decision making. It's good for your critical thinking, right? So it sharpens your ability to evaluate information and form your own opinions as opposed to being persuaded or manipulated by groupthink or some kind of really important figure or mentor in your life who might be wrong. And again, it gives your research or your writing authority and credibility. We call authority in research ethos. We have the three appeals that we look at when we're trying to convince people to do something. And this is true whether you're speaking, so you learn this in speech, but it's also true in writing. So the three most persuasive ways that we can convince someone is, first of all, our authority. Who are we? What are our credentials? What is our credibility in talking about an issue? Right? So that's ethos. The second is logos. That is logic and evidence and statistics. It's a more objective data that's not personal. It's a fact is a fact. Here's the research and what the research tells us. Here is what's logical. And the third one is pathos, which means emotions. So we can persuade people by showing them why they should care. And emotions can run the gamut from love to hate, right? So we figure out what the reader is feeling and we try to persuade them that way. In a really good paper, all three of those are going to be balanced. You're not going to have more than one more than the other. If you have someone who is primarily trying to appeal to your emotions, you have to stop and say, wait a second, do they not have any other thing to persuade me except trying to make me feel scared or angry or whatever, right? Where is the evidence? Where is the critical thinking? Where is their credibility to be telling me this? Or if they don't have credibility themselves, who are they giving me in spite of, in substitute for their own opinion? So that's like when we do research, right? You are not an expert in the stuff that you're going to be writing about. That's why you have to do research here to bring in the voices of people who have authority. And then your credibility to your reader is then based on can they trust you, right? So ethos is trust and credibility. So doing research adds those things to your paper, which is really important. And it is beyond just what you think in terms of the benefits for learning how to research. So the first one is academic success. That if you continue on in your academic career, you are going to have to write papers. And understanding how to research just makes you more likely to be successful. And again, it's not just papers, it's completing projects, it's even participating in class discussion. One thing that I think people don't understand when they're taking classes is go out and prepare for class discussions by reading what other people think. Now, again, you don't just then mouth that off. This is where critical thinking comes in. You listen to what they're thinking, what they're saying, and you say, what do I think about that? This other person is saying something actually quite different. Why do they have different opinions, right? And so you try to figure out what the gaps are and come up with your own ideas. And that's where original thinking and writing comes from. You still use those sources to help back up what you're saying, but you put them together to create something new. And we'll talk about that when we get to the synthesis part of this guide. Informed decision making, we've already talked about that, and critical thinking as well. Problem solving, again, being able to research makes you a better problem solver. The skills that you develop in that help you learn to break things down, and solving problems in many ways is about just breaking them down into their smaller bits and trying to say, okay, what can we solve at this point? Where is the real problem, right? So that can help there. Lifelong learning, it gives you the ability throughout your entire life to figure out things. Career advancement, Research skills can be very, very important in a variety of career opportunities. Being able to show that you can do the work that's needed, but also research skills are important when you're trying to find a job, right? When you go to an employer, you want to come prepared. You want to have done your research on who is this company? What what am I going to be expected to do in this position? What kind of questions might they ask me in my interview, and what kind of questions should I ask them? All of those are things that you can answer through research. Civic engagement, this basically means when you have to make decisions when you vote or when you're trying to decide on who to support, that research can help you figure out what's the right position to take. It can help you understand why people might be against something that you're for. And then personal growth, obviously, doing research is just a really great tool to help you be the person you need to be. That you're never at the mercy of just what you know. You can go out and you can supplement your knowledge. You can find things, you can learn things through the ability to research.